Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about. To my super chat, thank you so very much. I don't have $50 million or $20 million, sorry. Who knows? Maybe they have $50 million. But $20 million in venture capital funding. I don't have $20 million in venture capital funding. So my super chat and my Patreon, you help me remain independent and you help me do what I do. So I just thank you very, very much. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, you are both the two best moderators in all of YouTube. I just want to thank you very much for everything that you do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give another sermon or another discussion tonight. Rabbi Goodman, Preacher Goodman, Pastor Goodman, Reverend Goodman is going to give you his experiences as a lifelong Democrat and how Democrats view the topic or the notion of intimidation. Democrats truly believe, and liberals in general, the left, however you want to describe left of center, they truly believe that intimidation in any either physical or through hit pieces like public relations intimidation or physical intimidation, silencing an opponent, denigrating, mocking, insulting an opponent, they truly believe this is the best way to confront an opposing viewpoint. This is actually the basis. J-Man! Yuri is waking people up in the video gaming world. J-Man! It's, and this is part of, like, what I'm about to tell you is really part of how the left or Democrats view life in general. J-Man, thank you. Old school dad, man. Here's a small amount to your first 20 million. That is an important amount. Old school dad, man, thank you very, very much. J-Man, as always, J-Man, thank you very, very much. But when Rand Paul was confronted by a large number of people who wanted to verbally and physically intimidate or harm him, a man who, Rand Paul, is at the forefront of criminal justice reform, and he's been at the forefront of criminal justice reform since President Obama's administration. And when they try to intimidate Rand Paul, they are literally trying to silence one of the most vocal Republicans on the issue of criminal justice reform. And President Trump signed criminal justice reform legislation in the First Step Act. Alice Johnson, her story is a remarkable story. But I want to explain and touch upon the left's infatuation, because it is an infatuation. They are enamored. They truly enjoy utilizing their short-lived advantage within media or social media or Hollywood or what they view to be American culture. They believe they can get away with not reporting on either property damage or how many, like you had, over 30 people have lost their lives, mostly people of color, since George Floyd was murdered. And you can make the statement that yes, George Floyd was murdered and Eric Garner was murdered 6 years prior. And you can also say, hey, what happened with Rand Paul was wrong. But the way the left works is the following. Go to any major pundit I'm not going to call them out by name, but what are they talking about, and what have they built their platform on? Even the ones that have especially the ones that have the call-ins, it's mocking, denigrating, painting Trump supporters and conservatives as backward and ignorant and either racist or bigoted or xenophobic. They're the enlightened ones. They're the ones who can preach and pontificate about justice, issues pertaining to justice. Yet they're the political side that passed Biden wrote the crime bill that ushered in mass incarceration, and you have Kamala Harris, who is linked directly to the unjust incarceration of people of color. And then when she was prosecutor, 1,000 cases had to be thrown out. 1,000 cases had to be thrown out because a person was like snorting the narcotics within the crime lab in Northern California for personal use. One of the lab technicians, while Kamala Harris was attorney in Northern California, city attorney and district attorney, they had a crime lab scandal where narcotics that was confiscated narcotics utilized as evidence. Some of it was being siphoned off by workers at the crime lab for personal use. They would take the narcotics. This is evidence to be used in a court of law. So you're talking about criminal justice, and this is what the Democrats do. They are wonderful at promoting two competing themes. So they definitely are on the side of people and athletes who kneel during the national anthem, but they will never kneel during the national anthem. They will kneel as a public relations stunt, but not during the national anthem. They'll let the athletes take the heat, and then they'll paint Trump as bigoted. But you don't see Pelosi, you don't see Madam Secretary, who's going to be on that debate stage. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. You don't see Democrats kneeling. Why is that? For the same reason you don't see the left-leaning YouTubers and CNN and MSNBC journalists and Washington Post and New York Times journalists. You don't see them in Wisconsin. You don't see them in Oregon. You don't see them in Minnesota. You don't see them in Illinois. You don't see them in Georgia. Why not? I could list about 8 to 9 left-leaning YouTubers right now that said vote for Hillary Clinton, and that will say vote for Hillary Clinton again in 2016 they said it, and in 2020 they're going to say it. Where are the live streams, the late evening live streams where they're walking and protesting? And well, where are they? Where are they? Oh, that's right. They fear for their lives, but they'll say everything's peaceful, but they certainly won't go ahead and utilize their platform to highlight how peaceful everything is. They're all talk and public relations, but the intimidation is the following. Their ideas can't hold up under scrutiny. So they only debate, like, maybe they might debate broad concepts, like conservative ideology versus liberal ideology. They'll never debate somebody like myself who knows exactly what they've been up to, who knows the Achilles heels of all the pundits, and who knows exactly why they haven't passed a Medicare for All bill or Green New Deal bill, or where's the legislation protecting African American and black citizens from brutality? Where's the legislation protecting Americans of all backgrounds from police brutality? And I support law enforcement 100%, very much so. Very much so. I support law enforcement. Okay? I support law enforcement. I just became a lifetime member. It's really an honor of the California Highway Patrol 1199 Foundation. And I suggest everyone goes ahead, and this is for fallen officers and their families, for the CHP. And the California Highway Patrol is not just, they don't just do law enforcement. I mean, they have to patrol, and I mean, if you get into a car accident, or if there's any issues pertaining to motor vehicle accidents, or really anything on hundreds of miles of highways and freeways throughout California, the CHP, the California Highway Patrol, helps you. So, I mean, the CHP 1199 Foundation, I just became a lifetime member. And I'll put up a plaque on my other studio very soon. But I know I can respect law enforcement, but I know that there are bad apples there are bad doctors, lawyers, teachers. There are bad politicians, and there are bad apples within every profession, including law enforcement. And if you have people like the man who pretty much, I mean, that was a just a straight up murder. Daniel Shaver was walking out of his hotel room in Arizona. Okay, he was white, and for literally no reason. And you can look, and there are bad apples. Okay, George Floyd was murdered. Eric Garner was murdered, and Democrats didn't do anything about that. And then they say, well, you know what? We're marching and we're protesting. Well, why didn't you? Why they have the House? Just like every single topic or incident or tragedy that they take advantage of, you never see them actually. Where's the bill that they passed to prevent these tragedies from taking place? So you don't have another Eric Garner who loses his life, or George Floyd. Where's the bill? There might just recently have been a bill, but nobody's really talking about it. Why not? Why have they talked about 4 years of Russian interference, and just recently, right before the election, they talk about criminal justice issues? Oh, that's right, because every election, they spend 4 years talking about whatever is good for their donors, or corrupt intelligence officials, or whatever. They spent 4 years trying to save face because they lost to President Trump. And then right before the election, let me see if I can just go ahead and quiet down this. Okay, I did it before, and then the and the cricket, quieted down. Kaylee Smith, Trump 2020 landslide. Me think so. Tim Pool is voting Trump. Kaylee Smith, love Tim Pool. He's voting Trump. That's huge. That says a great deal. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you so very, very much. Kaylee Smith, thank you. Natalie, thank you, Kaylee. As always, Natalie. Rand said, that's right, we're chasing the police. What are you saying? What do you say, Jay? Paid by... two operatives, Kaylee and Natalie, two operatives were kicked out were forced to resign in 2016 because they were fomenting violence at Trump rallies. And Kaylee, I love you, Kaylee, but I have to remove that. I love you so much, but I have to remove that, Kaylee. I'm sorry, just because YouTube. I don't want YouTube to. But Kaylee, thank you so much. I apologize for that. Kaylee, I have to enforce the Lollipop rule sometimes. But Kaylee, thank you. But Kaylee, thank you very, very much, Kaylee. I apologize. I had to enforce the Lollipop rule. Natalie, Kaylee, I think that there's something going on. I'll leave it at that. And I agree with Rand Paul. But getting back to Kaylee and Natalie and everyone here, the left views intimidation as an intellectual pursuit. They view, there have been channels, or there's couple channels, but there have been publications that have tried to demean me for no reason. When I was on the left, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. This is before Rose Twitter. A great many of the Rose Twitter people and the socialist Rose icon, people and the far left, the anarchists, a great many of them read all of my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post primarily, and Salon. And my writing was given a stamp of approval by the editors there and by everyone. All the top brass knew that my writing was going viral. And instead of having a discussion, so the I'm with her people and the people who were, and God bless Hillary Clinton, she's the best candidate they have in 2020, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. She's going to be opposite that debate stage because she's the only person the Democrats have who could possibly debate President Trump. She has the gravitas, she has the money, she has the grassroots support. She does better in terms of black and Latino voters, Hillary Clinton does, than Biden. Biden is essentially, you're talking about an exhumed body that they've propped up. It's weekend at Biden's every day. Nobody believes it. Nobody believes it. Tom Perez, put your best champion up against Trump. We have our best. Trump supporters have our best. President Trump is a great president. Has allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than President Obama or any other president. So when people say, well, Trump is racist, Trump supporters are racist, they lack the knowledge of what Trump has actually done. And then if they acknowledge that and they say, well, I don't care, then you're also acknowledging you don't care that President Obama destroyed a country, Libya, and drank Flint water in an attempt to deceive people. We can go on forever. Did nothing at Standing Rock. President Obama got away with the most heinous atrocities, especially when you look at the NATO intervention, where he just said, it's my worst mistake. Then they get into character. I'd much rather have President Trump's character than President Obama's character. A man who presided over a failed NATO intervention that caused a country to be a failed state. Libya was not a failed state prior to President Obama's NATO intervention. Now, people like a lot of socialists and the left, look what Trump has done in Venezuela. Well, it's like they had inflation, like 1,500% inflation before President Trump even took office. That had nothing to do with Trump. I mean, it's like the left lives in this world where they cannot possibly say anything good about President Trump or anything really bad about President Obama. Or they can, but it's always within the paradigm, well, he's better than Trump. No, he's not. There's nothing that President Trump has done that's worse than destroying a country. But my point is, the left views intimidation, harassment. That's why you have these trolls that get a thrill out of trying to intimidate, or the people who have, like the person who, the death threat, that was, or my Twitter impersonator who's breaking the law, the death threat, the man who broke that law, broke the law and trying to intimidate me. These people hide behind phony profiles. Do you think they actually give their names? You think they have the honor or the courage to show their faces? It's the same thing with, like, when I was contacted by a quote-unquote, well, he's really just a writer, that wrote a hit piece on me when I was on the left for the Daily Beast. I did nothing to deserve a hit piece other than write that Bernie Sanders was better than Hillary Clinton. This warranted a hit piece in the Daily Beast. Because if you're too far to the left, or if they view you as a threat, notice that the Daily Beast never writes hit pieces on fill-in the YouTuber or left-leaning pundit. When your writing or when your viewpoints or when your arguments are viewed as dangerous because they're actually based on logic and rational thought and reason, and I was 100% right. In 2015, I said Clinton would lose swing states, and still I got hit pieces. And still people tried to paint me as like this really bad person, but my voice only grew. I was 100% right. Clinton lost. 538, everyone else was wrong. And they tried to intimidate me, but it didn't work. Then you had the Ross story. Then you had, and this is when I was on the left, Wonquette. You had all of these people saying my only sin, ladies and gentlemen, my only sin was that I was too passionate about Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders was a thorn in their side. So literally, the Daily Beast hit piece is, oh my God, he won't speak to us, or I won't speak to the journalist. But I knew the journalist was going to write a negative story. So why on earth would I speak to the person? I knew that the only goal of that man who wrote that hit piece was to try to insult me and denigrate me and mock me and paint me as somebody who shouldn't be listened to. And my writing continued to go viral even after that hit piece because the writing and the message resonated. And President Trump is going to go 8 years because his ideas resonate. Kaylee Smith had to go into downtown Chicago earlier this week. Not going to lie, took my Trump 2020 magnet off my car. You should, for fear of my personal safety. You should take care of yourself. Kaylee, thank you so very much. Right now, you got to take care of yourself. And the only thing, Kaylee, well, first of all, thank you very, very much, Kaylee. The only thing you have to do, Johnny Smith, hello. The only thing you have to do, Kaylee, is make sure that you're safe, that your family is safe, and that's it. And you vote for President Trump, and nobody can take that away from you. You don't have to represent knowing that, look, there are people, Kaylee, and everyone here, there are hilarious videos of like the Benny Hill soundtrack with Democrats trying to rip apart yard signs. Then you go from 2015, they ripped apart yard signs. They're trying to pull off MAGA hats from people. You have friends and family calling up other people saying, oh, yeah, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And then you have buildings being set ablaze. And then President Trump has won already. Do you think that the suburbs or the rural areas or people within urban communities, the majority of Black and Latino citizens want police? This is according to the polls that Democrats worship. They're so clueless. You have young people, primarily white, okay? Primarily. In many of these, in Oregon, primarily, they don't have anything to lose. They feel they don't have anything to lose. So they basically are the biggest Trump supporters of all time, but they're obviously anarchists or socialists or far left. And they think that they're going up against the system. They're making the system stronger. Whatever system they think they're going up against, they're only helping President Trump. They've done more to help President Trump than anyone. There is not a person on YouTube. There's not a Trump supporter on the planet who's done more to help re-elect President Trump than people who set buildings ablaze, than people who destroy property, than people who intimidate, than people who set up autonomous zones. You have helped President Trump more than... I'm looking at this as... I'm perplexed as to why they don't... is this on purpose? Because just to this is not... I don't know this... I don't have any inside knowledge, but a respectful message to the far left. Look at U.S. history. Look at U.S. history and civil rights organizations and what happened to civil rights organizations in the 60s. Do you not think that maybe a quarter or at least 1/10 of your membership are government informants? Do you not think do you not, like, when you are going about late at night, do you not understand that probably 1/10 to a quarter, I would say probably 1 out of 10 people within these organizations are government informants? I mean, that's obvious. And then you have people within the state legislatures or city councils or within, the federal government that actually support these organizations. But it's not like William Barr is not playing around. There's already 75 people have been indicted, something along those lines. But do you not think, if you're on the far left, and this happens all the time, if they don't turn on each other, then there are government informants that turn. And this is just obvious. The thing is, they're completely clueless. P-Dog Night! Are you talking about the fires of P? Yes! Kaylee, P-Dog Night! Exactly! William R. Abrams III. Mr. Tiny has great concern for the police canine units. Exactly. You know what? Mr. Tiny should lead the way. He's awesome. Thank you, William R. Abrams. P-Dog Night. Exactly. But you have to ask yourself, I guess it's my long-winded, the question is the issue is the following. Democrats truly believe, because of their arrogance and their hubris and their narcissism, that I or you or any Trump supporter, President Trump, cares about their vitriol or venom. You think that Rand Paul cares? The way they work, their minds work in the following manner. And this is a change in mindset. And I don't know if it's a generational thing, but they view life as, well, if I'm mocked by more people than I'm supported by, then that means that my message is not worthy, or my message won't resonate. So their viewpoint is, we're going to mock and denigrate and insult and physically harass and intimidate, and we're going to make the lives of people we oppose uncomfortable. Just like when you had literally Democratic politicians saying, make their lives uncomfortable. This does not change viewpoints. It only makes viewpoints. It only makes people dig into the ground and continue their viewpoint. It is not an American or any. It's not any mentality on the planet. If you say, "Hey, stop doing this. We don't like the way you're thinking." You're going to, if you tell a young person, or you tell like it's Romeo and Juliet, if you tell a person, "Oh, you can't fall in love with that person. You can't fall in love. That person is of a different ethnicity or religion. You can't." You've basically made the union stronger. If you say you can't listen to music, then people are going to want to listen to the music more. Jude of Dapto. I'm in New Zealand, Australia, and see no excitement for Biden. Does it exist anywhere in the U.S.? No. Are young people excited about Joe Maga? No, they're not. And I think it's going to be I know it's going to be Hillary Clinton eventually. But Jude of Doptown, no, there's no excitement. In fact, Jude, I'm the only person in all of YouTube who has Joe Biden gear. Jude of Doptown, I'm the only person in all of YouTube who has Joe Biden gear. Nobody, absolutely nobody. He is so far down in terms of enthusiasm. It's unbelievable. Jude of Doptown, thank you. Thank you, Jude. Thank you. Bucolic Buffalo. Mr. Goodman, HSC to be implemented as soon as Joe's Condom State rapidly. Yep, I agree. Or, I don't know how. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you so very much, as always, for your support. Always. P-Dog Knight, Jude, thank you so very much. Bucolic Buffalo, I don't know how it's going to happen, and thank you every live stream, for your support. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's pretty obvious what's going on. It's pretty obvious. Biden's tanking. Biden's tanking. J-Man, as they should. As they should. What happened there was absolutely criminal. As they should. As they should. P-Dog Night. Six iron range Democrat mayors of Minnesota have just endorsed Trump. Hardcore Dems influenced by the mess in Twin Cities. Exactly. P-Dog Night. I think he could win Minnesota. I don't think he'll win Oregon, but there's an outside chance, depending on what the protesters who were peacefully dismantling the state do. People are not intimidated by chaos and mayhem. They're not. Ideas aren't refuted or diminished by chaos and mayhem or violence. That doesn't work that way. P-Dog Night, you're 100% right. I mean, if you look in 2016, he won most counties in Minnesota. It's just the urban areas that Clinton won. So P-Dog Night, you're right. Kaylee Smith. I thought the room test would be the end of. Who knows how it's going to happen? Kaylee, great point, but who knows how it's going to happen? Now, I don't know how it's going to happen, but Madam Secretary, God bless you, to the Clinton campaign. I have 700 people here. Clinton campaign. The least you could do for a former Bernie supporter is take it. Take it. Take the ball, go into the end zone. Oh, I like the way that sounds. Oh, my goodness. Bill, I'm talking about, it's a football analogy, a metaphor. Go with the best that you have, DNC. The best that you have. God bless her. She suffered for our sins. The Russians stole it from her. She has the gravitas. Tell everyone you know that H.A. Goodman says Hillary Clinton has the gravitas and the grassroots support. Let's go. AFC champ versus NFC champ. Let's go. Super Bowl, baby. Let's go. Kaylee Smith, thank you. J-Spot J! Your reimbursement for the Biden. Thank you, J-Spot J. I hope all is well. J-Spot J. P-Dog Night, thank you. I know I can't get a haircut in LA anymore. I'm about to look like Willie Nelson. J-Spot J, thank you. Aria Lee. Love your live streams, HA, you rock, and this is the best chat in the world. It really is. Trump 2020. Aria, thank you so very much. It really is. It's a great chat. It really is. Thank you, Aria, for always watching. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you for always watching. Old school dad, man. HA, when Clinton runs, can she pick a different VP? No, I think she'll pick Kamala Harris. She'll stay with Kamala Harris. If she does, who gets the on? Old school dad, man, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. She's done just enough to incarcerate people unjustly to keep the vice president status. So, old school dad, man. But if I tell you, old school dad, man, and Bucolic Buffalo and Kaylee and everyone here, if I tell you, you can't listen to punk music, you cannot listen to the Ramones, you cannot listen to the Pistols, you cannot listen to the Misfits, you cannot listen, you cannot listen to, pick a band. You cannot listen to Motorhead. I mean, that's heavy metal. You cannot listen to all the greatest bands. There's a great, The Exploited is one of the great British punk bands. The Exploited. Now, I love the country. I love the United States of America, but they have the Exploited, one of the great British punk bands of all time. I mean, they don't really. I don't know if they get the credit that's due to them, but they have a song that's not really very complimentary of the U.S., okay? Scottish punk band is from Scotland. Exploited is one of the great bands of all time, okay? The great punk bands. I think they're fantastic. They have a great song about the U.S. I love the U.S. Now, if someone, I love my country, but if somebody were to tell me you can't listen to the Exploited because of that, I can't even say it. It's the USA. So it's a 1983 song from the Exploited. Someone said you cannot listen to this song because as an American you can't listen to it. I'd be like, nah, I want to listen to it. I will. You can't tell me what to do. And then it would make me want to listen to the song even more. So you can't tell people that they can't do something because they're going to want to do it more. You can't tell people you can't listen to the Exploited because they're going to want to listen to the Exploited even more. You can't tell people, hey, you know what? You can't marry that person or you can't date that person because it's a different social class or different religion or different ethnicity or different race or whatever, because that you basically cemented the relationship. You can't tell people that you can't believe in a certain political viewpoint or else you're seen as a racist because, number one, you cannot be a racist and want prison reform legislation. That makes no sense at all, but then again, the left doesn't make any sense. It's purely run on emotion. But I don't care about your scorn. This is the problem. The hubris and the arrogance. See, I'm not arrogant enough to think that people would care whether or not I like their viewpoint. I know I'm grounded enough to know that nobody really cares what I think about their personal opinions. and I don't care if a Hollywood celebrity tells me that my viewpoint is wrong. If their argument is not based on reason and logic, why would I care? You cannot call someone racist when the president they're voting for signed prison reform legislation and allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than his predecessor or any other president. You can't call Trump a despot or authoritarian when he is removing and reducing or limiting our military presence footprint around the world. You can't say he's a despot while at the same time acknowledging that he's removing Americans from harm's way. This is a basic grasp, but they don't have a basic grasp of logic. Like people are like, I've known people like, oh, you know what? Nobody thinks the way you do. Well, 63 million people do, but I don't care. I don't care. If you live your life worrying about what people think of you, then you're going to have a really bad life. You're going to have a really sorry, unhappy life. You have to do your thing. You have to live your life your way, like Frank Sinatra. Bill Clinton is a new captain of the Love Boat. Oh, the Love Boat. William R. Abrams, Natalie! Biden wants to run for next year. What the heck? No Motorhead. Natalie! Exactly. Well, Biden, he'll be replaced by Hillary Clinton. I feel it. Tom Perez, God bless you. DNC chairman. You got to do a better job than Debbie Wasserman. Don't worry. I don't care. I will defend Hillary Clinton. I'm voting for President Trump. But I am the one YouTube channel. I am the biggest Hillary Clinton supporter in all of YouTube. You know what? I take back everything I write. I shouldn't have, the Huffington Post, the Hill Salon, you shouldn't have published all that, all the articles about Clinton's email servers and the top secret intelligence. I don't care anymore. I've given up. It's fine. It was for convenience. I should have believed it. It's fine. Everything's fine. You know what? Bernie wasn't cheated. It was the Russians. It was the Putin who wrote everything. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. It's all water under the bridge. End the charade somehow. We need the best the Democrats have to offer. Hillary Clinton is the best. She has the grassroots support. She has the gravitas. She has the funding. She has all of Hollywood. She warned us. She was right. She warned us. See, I'll go with it. But I'm voting for President Trump because I don't want, primarily, in addition to a great many things, I don't want never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. And we have to never again send American soldiers off to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, a much bigger issue than climate change, much bigger. Much bigger. But anyway, issue and topic. But see, again, Tom Perez, the DNC, what are you waiting for? Nobody's going to care. First of all, it's not even his call. Clinton campaign. What are you waiting for? I have 752 people on this live stream. I will defend Hillary Clinton. I promise you. From all the I'm gonna watch any YouTuber that said vote for Clinton in 2016. You're gonna have a big problem with me. A big problem. If you say anything, if you say a derogatory word about Madam Secretary, you'll have me to contend with. Because you don't get to play H.A. Goodman in 2020 when Madam Secretary, because you know what? You had your chance in 2016, okay? But nobody wrote the hit pieces on you. So if you pretend in 2020 to be H.A. Goodman, no. There's only one. It's just me. And I will defend Madam Secretary against anyone, any pundit, especially on the left, that dares say don't vote for Clinton. You better vote for Clinton, and you better be happy, and you better tell people to vote for Clinton if you're on the left. Yes, you better be happy doing it. So what are you waiting for, Clinton campaign? I know, she's the nominee. I know. I say, oh, nominee, nominee, yeah, whatever. Get the meeting with Tom Perez saying, look, Clinton does better among black and Latino voters. She does better among young people. She does better. Look at the polling. You have no chance with Biden. And why am I even helping you? When you see your adversaries heading towards the same iceberg, you probably should say, speed it up. Roman hoax! Deb's new slogan is this is Trump's America in response to the leftist violence. They're so deranged and sadly very sick if they think it works. I know. That's an interesting point. I agree with you. I agree with you. And it's like they keep on saying, like, they keep on pretending that this violence or the chaos and the mayhem, or they're like, look, everyone's unhappy. Look, everybody, this is the Trump America. I guess we have food lines because of Trump. We never had racism before under President Obama. We never had unarmed citizens losing their lives. We never had any of this under President. We never had a recession under President Obama. We never had high unemployment. We never had any of these issues. This is all new in U.S. history. It's all because the Orange Monster. You know this can all stop. You know how it can stop, right? You wouldn't want your city to be dismantled further, would you? You wouldn't want the pain to continue. You know how it can be stopped. Vote Democrat. It's all. You could just, everything could just stop right now and you could get back to normal. You want to get a haircut? You want to get a haircut? You want to go to the restaurant? You know what to do. It's just fine. You want to work again? Want to get back to that thing called work? You greedy. You know what? All you have to do is vote Democrat. That's all you have to do. Okay? We're going to continue. This is the way they think. We're going to continue with the pain until you give up. Until you give up. William R. Abrams, Oh yeah, Sid Vicious best version. that was actually a great version of that. Tabletop Joe. I for one welcome the new Lord Hillary Lennon. Tabletop. Dan M. Madam Lion. You just have to exactly Super Bowl jetpack. You know what to do. You know it doesn't have to be this way, America. Did you like life prior to Trump? It doesn't have to be this way. And it's like they don't realize that, well, that's not the way life works. You don't give people ultimatums. An ultimatum is not good in relationships. You either marry me or that's it. I mean, that kind of works, but it doesn't work long term. You should want to marry the person. Okay? You shouldn't be like, that would be terrible if your pet chihuahua were to be, I don't know, something were to happen. I guess you're going to have to marry me. Sorry. Mr. Tiny's cousin, your pet chihuahua? Yeah. We've been dating for 8 years. You don't want to marry me? Why would you allow other creatures to suffer? That's just too bad. That's just too bad because we have wolves in this area. And I don't know if Mr. Tiny's cousin could survive a pack of wolves. That's really not nice what you've done to Mr. Tiny's cousin. We'll get you there, slowly but surely. It doesn't work that way. Fine, I'll marry you, fine. Chihuahua back. It doesn't work that way. The Democrats, that's the way they think. Do you understand? That's the way they think. It's just the way they think. Nobody likes you. Nobody thinks that you're interesting or intelligent. You're voting for Trump because you're a racist. Trump is a racist like you. You're a bigot. You're a monster like him. Everything bad that he does, you do. Even if you're voting to bring home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. He denigrated all people of many different backgrounds. William R. Abrams just had to cover Mr. Tiny's ears. William! If you vote for Trump, you're voting for everything bad that he embodies. And that embodiment is within you. So look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. You can change your life for better. Why don't you just look in the mirror, realize you're a putrid human being, realize what you've done in your life, and take out create a giant, have somebody commission a giant sculpture of Nancy Pelosi and start praying to it. Pray to the Nancy Pelosi statue. Everyone should have one in their home to pray to. And once you've prayed and asked the Lord Nancy Pelosi to forgive your sins, then vote Democrat. And then you won't be a racist, bigot, horrible, xenophobic, misogynist, racist monster. Trump, racist Trump, misogynist Trump. It's so easy how you can better your life. This is how Democrats think. And the rest of humanity is like, what are you arguing about? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. He's allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities. He signed the First Step Act, which is prison reform legislation. He is removing American soldiers from never-ending counterinsurgency and never-ending conflict within regions of the world that we've been in for 20 years. I mean, like, he's going after very corrupt intelligence officials. I don't care what you think of me. So, and then Democrats say, well, if you don't care what we think of you, we're just going to insult you even more. But I don't even care. If you insult me more, that would make me less likely to care what you thought of me. Well, then I'm going to insult you and everyone around you, and I'm going to insult your family, and then I'm going to insult every person who's ever voting for President Trump. But why would I care about that? That would make me want to vote for Trump even more. You know what? I'm going to get all my friends to harass you as you walk to your hotel. That will show you. That's going to just show how deranged and that you're a bunch of lunatics. Why would I? That actually is bad. That shows you how pathetic you are. No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to dismantle law enforcement. And this will fix systemic issues. How so? What's going to happen, God forbid, if the criminals realize that you live in a community that has no law enforcement? Good luck with that. No, we're gonna have the community. The community then better be. I don't even want to go into it. Armed. How do you do that? How do you do that? But that's a whole other story. It's like there's legislation that you can implement to ensure that people don't lose their lives in altercations, while at the same time protecting the lives of police officers, because police officers risk their lives also every day. Every day. Life isn't just going out after a protest is over and causing mayhem. That's like it's like the far left. They don't realize you're helping Trump. And don't you realize that almost certainly 1 out of 10, or at least 1 out of 10, very likely 2 out of 10 of all the far left groups are government informants or working with local law enforcement. Or no, government, federal government. Or state law enforcement. Like, that's almost a certainty. And they don't realize it. Like, yeah, we're going to go cause mayhem. Yay, we're going to show everyone. We're going to control the streets. Like, well, I tell you what, you don't do that in areas that are already controlled by local gangs, because then you're not going to make it out. What's the point of controlling the streets at 2 a.m. in a place where there are no gangs, where there are no organizations that already control the streets? What's the point of doing this in Oregon or Washington or Wisconsin or Georgia or Illinois or any state? What is the point? What do you gain from this? Do you help or hurt President Trump? Because you have just the far left has single-handedly reelected President Trump just from the chaos and mayhem. CNN and MSNBC can say the word peaceful all the time. They can say the word peaceful all the time. It doesn't matter. The ideas. Jasher! What are the odds that Joe drops out of the race before the debates? I mean, Jasher, I don't know what the odds would be, but I think they're pretty good, because I don't know when it's going to happen. But Clinton will be on that debate stage, or she'll be on that ballot. Hillary Clinton is the only chance they have. And she'll still lose to President Trump, but she'll get very close, which is frightening. Clinton is by far the superior candidate, which should tell you something about the Democratic Party. Biden is a horrendous candidate. They're propping up Biden because of they are relying on the irrational viewpoint of President Trump held by media. So, Jasher, I don't know how it's going to happen, and thank you so much. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I can tell you that there's a reason Nancy Pelosi stated that she doesn't want. There's a reason that Nancy Pelosi stated she doesn't want Biden to debate President Trump. And that's another issue. It is not the responsibility of media to fact check it, like real time either Republicans or Democrats during a debate. It is the responsibility of the two people debating one another to decide if their opponent is lying and to call out their opponent. And you should want to debate somebody who lies, because then you could make them look even worse, or then you could defeat their arguments easier. And furthermore, the general public is a lot smarter and has a better grasp of truth and knowledge than anyone in media. When Jonathan Swan was like, I covered your supporters. They hang on your every word. Oh, no, they don't. They like President Trump. They don't worship President Trump. It's the Democrats who worship media. Jasher, thank you very much. It's going to be Hillary Clinton. I just don't know when. I'm on my way to making the biggest political call of all time. I can feel it. I'm just waiting. Jasher, thank you so very, very much as always. Jasher, thank you. Bimbalukins BXN! I hit 150K by November. Love you, HA. Latinos for Orange Man. Great. Eva Maria. Bimble Dickens BXN. Hello. I hit 150K by November. Bimble Dickens BXN. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bimble Dickens BXN. Thank you. Thank you as always. But go look at how. Like, there's a channel. I'm not going to get into the name of the channel, but you can. It's affiliated with the $20 million venture capital people. And every day, all they do is Bimbo Dickens BXN. Thank you. All they do is play videos of. And the hilarious thing, it's supposed to be a sports channel, but this is hilarious. All they do is play videos of like an event, a racist event that's taken place somewhere in the country. About a Karen that does this or that. About how ignorant Trump supporters are. And during the racist events, you can see, like, in the comment section, they're like touching themselves in ecstasy. Oh, we're so much better. We're so much better than the backwards conservatives and Trump supporters. And then what they don't tell you is that, oh, I don't know, there might be a racial discrimination lawsuit in the history of certain pundits that run, or I guess the corporation associated. But see, again, these people are hypocrites. These people are hypocrites. Variety.com. Fill in the channel sued for racial discrimination by ex-employee. And then now they're making money. Oh, did you see what some Karen did? And did you see what these old people did? Oh my God, this is the face of bigotry. It's like, these are like, they might be racist events, or they might just be misunderstandings, or they might just be like old people caught on tape. Who knows? Like doing like trying to explain themselves in an awkward manner. Who knows exactly? Like, some of them might be blatant examples of racism or just miscommunication, but their lives, the lives of people on the left, are let's mock, denigrate, let's make everything, and let's make everything revolve around how we're morally superior. Moodikins BXN, thank you so much. YouTube blocking stuff. Message was about your sub count. Make MAGA 2020. Thank you so very, very, very much. Yeah, hopefully it'll go up, but I'm expecting it to go up a considerable amount. President Trump's going to win re-election, so that should help. But Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you so very, very, very much. But you're not. This is another issue also. Exactly, William. I do agree. Bimbo Dickens BXN, everybody here. This is an issue that is like this is the heart of the matter. Nobody cares what they think, and they're not morally superior to anyone. You are not morally superior because you think climate change is more important than preventing regime change. That does not make you morally superior. I happen to think, if you want to talk about morality, it is far more important to prevent, to ensure that we don't ever engage in interventionist regime changes than not to say that addressing climate change isn't important, but it's far more important to address the foreign policy tragedies of the past 20 years immediately than it is to take incremental steps that can't possibly impact the entire planet, because you would need a lot of other countries to adopt the same policies. And they would need to do so with, like, incentives linked to penalties or economic consequences, not just, Scouts honor, we promise. But they're like I've heard people say, well, climate change affects the world, but our foreign policy just affects our soldiers. It's like, what are you talking about? Our foreign policy can instantly turn a country into a failed state, or instantly and immediately negatively impact our soldiers. And the immediate impact on the lives of American families and the lives of families in other countries is felt within a day or a week or a month of the regime change. You can ask people in Libya or people throughout the Middle East what they think of President Obama or Bush's foreign policy decisions, and how immediate the repercussions were. Okay? We have a little bit more than 11 years, very likely. The UN says, we have 11 years before irreversible change. Well, then Democrats had one major climate change bill in a decade? They never, the paranoia and the hysteria never correlates with the rhetoric or with the actions. The rhetoric never correlates with the actions, but they're not morally superior. They truly believe that they're on the side of justice, that history will shine down brightly upon them. No, history will not. History will not say, wow, you did a great job in cities throughout the country giving President Trump the election because of your lack of basic understanding of how politics works. All people, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're a decent human being, you don't want to see cities and buildings burnt to the ground. You don't want to see this, especially if you're trying to enact major social change. All that does is help re-elect a president who says, no, we're not going to stand for this. And then Biden was, hey, just to let you know, it's not a good idea. It's like, okay, Biden, whatever. J Spot J. What did I say? Exactly, J Spot J. Pooty Putin. Must read new book, Permanent Coup by Lee Smith. The scope and depth of Obama's corruption, which continues today, is jaw-dropping. It is interesting that it takes about 4 years for any president to wrestle control of the government from his predecessor, but it's interesting what's still going on. Putin, thank you. Thank you. Shane, thank you, Shane. But yeah, I mean, they're obsessed with this. Is the reason that they think they can harass and intimidate people physically online, bully people, and hide behind masks and hide behind profiles and hide behind their keyboard and go out in the streets at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. and try to control the streets where there's zero political utility other than the feeling of euphoria or the feeling of momentary control or whatever emotions they feel when they're trying to cause property damage or intimidate people. They truly feel that they're doing so because they're on the side of justice. They feel that they're morally superior to people who wear the Make America Great Again hat because they have created something. They have assigned attributes to Make America Great Again. They have created a Trump that doesn't exist. They have stated if you're voting for Trump, you're voting for xenophobia and bigotry, when the opposite is true. And when President Trump makes a crude remark in 2015, they still hold on to it as if it was relevant today. Then they talk about the cages that were built under President Obama. And they don't talk about the policies under President Obama that were worse than President Trump. Then they focus on Stephen Miller, and they're like, oh yeah, Stephen Miller, oh my God, Stephen Miller. It's like, do you not did you forget for 8 years that President Obama deported more human beings than anyone ever? Did you forget? They don't have a value system. Their value system is the attainment of political power and influence. That's it. They pretend they're like, Stephen Miller is just so immoral. It's like, you did worse. I can't even go into it. But there's a New York Magazine article. A Senate panel found out what President Obama's administration allowed to take place. Then you have we should all be confronting and screaming at elected officials whose policies. Why? In public, on Twitter, on the phone, outside their homes, what is that going to change anything? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. This is the way the left is. This is why President Trump. This is interesting. This is why President Trump is going to win again. Because they're like, we have to make people feel uncomfortable. It's like, it doesn't. It just helps President Trump. They're so bad. They're so bad. Here you have a masked person giving the finger. This is Ari Fleischer giving the finger to an elderly couple walking. 2 fingers. Then you have this analysis from a person. Think there's an analysis here. The picture below only offends you if you think politics should be completely private and finished once you leave the voting booth. Result of focus on electoral politics is the way to participate in making political discourse socially taboo. What? Who even knows what that means? The same can be viewed. You can, at the end of the day, if you want conservatives to treat you the same way, then it escalates. See, the left has been the left is like Democrats or liberals or progressives or far left. They're convinced that their actions will not lead to an escalation. So they're like, well, we have to let you know that you've been wrong. You're wrong in how you think. Well, should President Trump, should Trump supporters treat you in a reciprocal manner based on your support of Libya because you voted for President Obama, so therefore you support his worst policies. So therefore, should people show up at your home? Of course not. Should people insult you to your face? Of course not. President Obama deported more human beings than any other president ever. Do you want then people to call you out for that? President Obama gave money to rebels that exacerbated civil conflicts and caused atrocities. President Obama drank Flint water while it was still poisonous. So do you want Trump supporters to confront you? No, of course not. Of course you don't. I mean, they truly think that they're morally superior and that they can impose their morality through intimidation. Doesn't work that way. First of all, they're not morally superior. Second, even if they were, you couldn't impose a code of morality through violence or intimidation. You're not going to shame anyone when you yourself could be shamed for the sins of President Obama and Clinton and Biden. This is basic logic. They fail to, and it's the participation trophy type mentality, because they don't know, they don't realize that they're on their way to losing again. So everything's based on emotion. Pete Solano! HA, come on, man. You know the deal. You ain't. Pete Solano! Thank you, Pete. I hope all is well. A big hello to Paul Bartlett also. Paul, thank you for always watching. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. 1998 Blue Dog. What will Biden's excuse for bailing out? I have no clue. 1998 Blue Dog, but we all know this ain't. It's not built to last. If you're 500 pounds and you're on a tricycle, that's if you're 500 pounds and you get on a rusted tricycle, probably not gonna, or if you get into a 1965, or 1948 or 1930 car that barely runs, you're not gonna drive from LA to Vegas. Shane, thank you. I didn't see Shane. Thank you, Shane. Hillary will jump in last minute. I believe that, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But it's you're not going to intimidate. Your policies on the left are not morally superior policies. The immigration policies of President Obama were horrendous. He was called the deporter-in-chief by La Raza. You're not better than President Trump. You're just different. You're not better at all, because a Senate panel found that President Obama's administration allowed much worse to happen. I'm not even going to bring it up on the live stream. Look up the Senate panel, New York Magazine, or just you look up it was a Senate panel that talked about absolute atrocities that were allowed to happen. Those cages were built when they're under President Obama's administration. You absolute hypocrites. You're not morally superior in any way, shape, or form. And the far left, this is the hilarious thing. The liberals who dislike Stephen Miller are viewed as immoral by the people to the left of them. It's like you go to the gym, there's always somebody who can outlift you. You go into the ring, there's always somebody who can outbox you. You go into the left, there's always somebody who's morally superior to you. Just go further left. Just go further left. The anarchists are the most moral. Then it's the socialists. Then it's the Bernie supporters. Then it's the liberals. And then it's the Lincoln Project. This is the entire left. So, and then it's Michael Cohen. The people who, used to work for Trump, who had to, still in prison or whatever, because of nothing to do with President Trump. if you feel that you're moral, you can justify anything. You can justify atrocities. That's how atrocities are justified. The most heinous, barbaric, brutal regimes in the world. The 1930s, 1940s Germans that the far left would definitely support. Look how they treat the only Jewish state in the world. But the 1930s, 1940s Germans, what happened to the Armenian people? The word genocide was created because of what took place to the Armenian people, Armenian genocide. Raphael Lemkin invented the word because of what took place, the genocide that the Armenians experienced. But you look at regimes throughout history, the biggest atrocities and the most heinous, barbaric, inhuman actions and murderous regimes, they all felt they were doing so under some kind of moral banner. So the left is like, oh, well, if we have to, if we have to make people uncomfortable, then they'll realize that they can't get away with their policies. Like, no, that's not the way it works, you imbecile. The Democrats have yet to focus or pass a major criminal justice reform bill. They have yet to pass a major criminal justice reform bill. And the only criminal justice legislation that was passed was signed by President Trump. But where's the bill? Where's the bill that they passed in the House? Let's see. I think they did pass. Okay, so there is a bill that was passed. That's good. House passes sweeping reform bill. Okay, so let's see if it could be passed. So, let's see. George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But why is it that they didn't focus on this? Imagine if they spent as much time on police brutality as they did on Russia. Imagine. And you know exactly how they feel. So Mitch McConnell to introduce this version of the bill, his version of the bill. So they're working on passing legislation. Which is good. Then when President Trump signs it, he'll still be racist and horrible. Clementine! God bless you. Thank you. Clementine Cooper, thank you. Thank you. But go look at, you look at the left or Democrats or whatever. What are they talking about? They're not talking. They're barely talking about Biden. You can even sense the passion. Like I'm looking at you can sense the passion on the left just dwindling down. I'm looking at all the top YouTubers, close to 1 million subs, that said vote for Clinton in 20. It's like the passion is just not there. And then, of course, they're trying to, hold MSNBC and CNN accountable. It's like you're the ones who you're the ones who they rely on to steer disgruntled left-leaning young people back into the Democratic Party. You know, there's something called a Green Party. You could. Oh, that's right. It's not lucrative. So, if you want to basically lose money but stand for principle, and you're on the left, then you join the Green Party. But you'll be honest and stand for principle, and actually possibly get things really done in the long term. But you're not going to make no money. You're not going to. I mean, the Green Party is like the only chance the left has, which nobody listens to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Why would I tell them what would actually help them? But it's like you can look at these. You look at you look at these, and they're actually trying to say there's really nothing here. Nobody's talking about Biden. You go to MSNBC and CNN, they're not talking about Biden. They're really not. They maybe are talking about how bad Trump is. Other than that, I don't see anything about Biden. Nobody cares. Everything, they're still on like sermon and preaching and Rabbi Goodman mode. And Rabbi H.A. Goodman mode. Everything is, this is how you need to think, and if you don't think this way, you have a really major problem. It's like, that's not going to help defeat President Trump. Not one. Clinton is going to, I cannot wait till it happens. I can't wait till it happens. Shane, yes. Shane, thank you so very much. Shane, thank you. Thank you. She will be the nominee after they take over. I mean, then it'll be a real election. I want to see. Now, to my New Zealand and Australia fans, I want to see the best in the Rugby World Cup. So apparently New Zealand is quite, very, 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 very good. So what's the history? The history. I want to see the best in the world. I want to see the best in the world in the World Cup and the Rugby World Cup. I don't want to see the best versus, some club team somewhere. Let's see who's won. I've done this before on this channel. Let's see. Okay, list of World Cup final winners. Okay. Wow. Okay, New Zealand 1987, Australia 1991, South Africa 1995, Australia 1999, England 2003. You'd think England had better. You'd think they would. They only have one championship. South Africa 2007, New Zealand 2011, New Zealand 2015, South Africa 2019. So I want to see Australia and South Africa, or South Africa, New Zealand. France is decent. They are runner up a lot. Wow, they've been runner, and England's been runner up a number of times too. Look at that. It's interesting. But I want to see the best. I want to see New Zealand versus another powerhouse. I don't want to see New Zealand versus Jerry Nadler's rugby team. Why would I want to see New Zealand, the national rugby team of New Zealand All Blacks versus Jerry Nadler's rugby team? Why would I want that? Is that enjoyable? No. Who do you think would win? You think Jerry Nadler would win? I don't think so. Democrats do. I want in football, American NFL, I want the NFC versus the AFC champion. So, it's like they don't really, they're going to lose again. When they lose, it's going to be pretty awesome. Oh, I can't wait till my website's going to be up. And I'll finally have a newsletter to notify. I mean, thank goodness YouTube notifies people, my live streams. But with my newsletter, I'll get to notify every one of my live streams, any published articles, any new things that are going on, any new channels. H.A. Goodman's other channel, I'll have a segment up tomorrow. I'm waiting for things to heat up because I know they're going to heat up. And I'll have a segment on Rand Paul tomorrow. But I'm just focusing right now on this channel. But H.A. Goodman's other channel, subscribe to it. It's below in the pinned comment. But to be part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. contactgoodman78@gmail.com. But Hillary Clinton's going to save the day, ladies and gentlemen. She's the best they have. Oh, my goodness. I mean, who could have predicted this? I mean, we were so supportive of Joe Biden. I mean, he was really doing well. I mean, we have absolutely no intention to... Not only, this is how you know that Hillary Clinton is going to eventually be across the debate stage. Not only is Clinton the far superior candidate, but Clinton is like the world's strongest man of politics. She's like the Eddie Hall or the Haftor or the Brian Shaw of politics. You are simply not going to, let's just assume that Biden really wanted to win. He would still have to contend with Madam Secretary and Bubba Bill. Let's assume it was a battle. You're talking about the Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or Haftor of politics. You could get 8 men, 10 men to arm wrestle Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall or Haftor, and they would win no problem. You put 10 men, and they're like, and then just with one arm. No, not a problem. Not even a problem. So the interesting thing is like, well, it's already happened. I mean, my God, how are they going to do it? It's like, well, who cares? It's not even a political party. The whole thing's a public relations charade. They cheated Bernie Sanders. What does it matter? Clinton is the best they have anyway, which says something about the Democratic Party. I can't wait. Paul, hello. I can't wait until the eventual reality sets in. I mean, it will be a vindication of everything I've been saying, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look, Trump is up in Michigan. Yeah, I find it very difficult that Jorgensen is getting 3%. I don't see that at all. Nobody's talking about her. Nobody. President Trump is going to win, and it's just a matter of time before they replace. There are enough people who will vote for Madam Secretary in 2024 as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had an amazing live stream as always. I just want to thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Be here tomorrow morning for the upload. I will have a great segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. H.A. Goodman's other channel will be very important. Definitely starting September, October, and November, and going into the 2021. That'll be very, very important channel. And when Clinton becomes nominee, I will have done a lot of work on that channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless to my viewers around the world, in the UK, Australia, New Zealand. Thank you so very much. Canada, Nepal, thank you. Hummer News Network, thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. David, hello. Hummer News Network, thank you very, very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless. To my super chat, thank you. Everybody, Rand, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Be here at 9 p.m. Pacific tomorrow evening. And what can I tell you other than subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. It's going to heat up very soon, people. Madam Secretary, the only chance the Democrats have is Hillary Clinton. She will be on that ballot across from President Trump. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Thanks, everybody.